Hello, my name is William Miller, and I will be walking you through the Android UI assignment for CS496 by taking a look at the code I wrote and demonstrating it over here in the Android emulator. To start off, the Android manifest.xml is where we define the labels for each one of these activities, which I will show you in a second. And down here, we've created 4 activity classes associated with these 4 buttons, whose objects we instantiated here in the Android UI activity class. And as you can see, each one of these buttons is declared and is associated with XML that lives in the activity_android_UI.xml file, which says what these buttons are going to be labeled and how they're going to be oriented with regard to their other button objects. And so, for each one of these buttons associated with its respective XML, we attach a listener in which we create a new intent that will take us to a view and an activity associated with each one of these buttons. So, for instance, if we click on button 1, it takes us to this activity, which is a linear horizontal layout of 5 integers. And that is the XML describing that is located here in activity_1.xml, where, as we can see, it's a linear layout of horizontal orientation. And these are each one of the text views that we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And activity 2 is much the same thing, but here we have a linear layout oriented vertically, and again, the 5 text views. The third activity is a grid layout. We can see here in our XML that it's a grid layout, and each one of these text views occupies a little grid cell here in our activity view. And finally, going back here, we have another activity, which is going to be show us a relative layout, whose XML is here. And as you can see, it looks much like the linear vertical layout, but each one of these items, for instance, the first text view, is positioned absolutely, and then each subsequent one is positioned relatively. So as you can see, this is layout below text view 16, which is this guy up here. So each one of these is positioned relative to the previous text view above it. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, they would all be displayed right on top of each other. And so that is about that. I believe I already showed that each one of these buttons has a listener attached to it, a new intent object, and which will take you to each respective activity, which saves the state of the previous activity and displays the layout described in each one of these XML files. And that is about it. Thanks for watching.